Hello soulmates, welcome back again to the channel. Today my name is Jenny. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys on how to cut and sew this beautiful bustier gown. As you can see right here, it has gathers at the side and it's an off shoulder gown. So if this interests you guys, don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, like and share this video, and also stay tuned to the end of this video because I'm going to be showing you the sneak peek of how mine came out. So let's get into it, guys. Hello soulmates, welcome back again to the channel today. So let's get into the drafting part. So the first thing to do is to go ahead and place your shoulder measurement divided by 2 on this part. Then after that, I'm going to add ½ inch to that because I'm going to adding my allowance on the paper. So I'm going to come down by ½ inch. Then from that ½ inch, I went down by my armhole length, which is 7.5. Placing the tape on the shoulder, I came down by 10 inches for my bust points, 13 inches for my under bust. Then I came down by 16.5 for my half length. From my half length, I came down by about 7 inches. So I'm going to be using 7 inches, or let me just mark 7.5. So instead of 7 inches, I will just mark 7.5 inches. Okay, so 7.5 inches is going to be the hip line. So after getting this, now I'm going to also mark it on this other part. So everything that I marked on this part, I'm going to also do the same at the center front, like so. The length of this gown is around 38 inches. So that is how I want it to be. That is the length I want it to be. So you can make yours shorter or longer than this. So after doing that, I went ahead to connect the points together. So on the chest line, I'm going to divide my bust measurement by 4 and place it there. Then whatsoever you have on the shoulder, place it on the chest line to have like a straight line. To have like a straight line for the armhole length. Then for the neck width, I marked 3 inches. Then for the neck depth, I went down by 3 inches, although we are not going to be making use of this neckline. So then go ahead and connect your shoulder slope. So on the armhole, I'm going to get the midpoint. Then I'm going to go in by ½ inch to get like a perfect curve for the armhole. So after that, go ahead and curve your armhole out. Then after doing that, I went ahead to label out the lines. I'm sorry if you can't see it clearly. I'm still going to outline this with my marker. So on the lines, I went to divide my nipple to nipple measurement by 2 to get the bust span, so which is 3.5. Place it on the line. Then at the under bust line, I marked 1 inch at both sides of the line because I'm not going to be padding this, but it's going to have the bustier effect. I hope you understand. So I don't need much curvy effect at that part. So that is why I use just 2 inches for the bust of 36. I hope you understand. So after doing that, now I'm going to just curve from the bust point line all the way to the under bust like this. So after doing this is what we have. Now I'm going to mark 2 inches upward from the chest line. That is where I want the upper chest line to be. So if you want your flesh to reveal much, what you're going to do, you can just go up by 1 inch, okay, or you can still maintain the 2 inches I went up. That is fine. So when I measured from the shoulder up to that upper chest line, it was around 6 inches. I hope you understand. So 6 inches is not really bad, it's still okay. So I went ahead to connect the lines together like this. So what you have at the shoulder, go ahead and divide it into 2, get the midpoint and connect it all the way to the bust point. Okay, so this is it, guys. So after connecting this, the next thing now to do is to go ahead and mark about 0.75 at both sides of that line. So initially I normally use 1 inch at both sides of the line. Like I said earlier, I don't want this to have like a curve at that bustier part because I'm not going to be padding it. So I just want to sew this as a ready to wear dress. You can see most of the bustier effects ready to wear dresses used to have without a cup, without any padding. Okay, so that is how I want it to be. So after doing that, I went ahead to place my bust measurement on the chest line. So whatsoever you have, you go ahead and place it on the bust point line. So on the under bust line, I went ahead to divide my under bust measurement by 4. Make sure you replace the dart, okay, except if you are doing it the way I'm doing it, like this, by skipping the dart. Then on the waistline also, go ahead and divide your waist measurement by 4 and replace the dart. Okay, then you connect the points together. So coming down to the 7 inches, which is the hip line, I went ahead to divide my hip measurement by 4, and I'm going to just place it like this. I hope you understand. Make sure you replace the dart. So after doing this, go ahead and connect the points together. So whatsoever you have at the hip, you place it right at the hem of the gown. So I'm going to just use my marker to outline all the needed lines we want for this pattern. The next thing now to do is to come down by 1 inch for the bust dart. So if you are going to be having a bust dart, come down by 1 inch because this is a gown. Okay, so 1 inch is fine. Then at the hem towards the center front, I'm going to go in by 2.5 inches. I'm sorry that part was not showing. So I went in by 2.5 inches, and I'm still going to connect all the lines I have like this, that is the dart lines. So I connected the dart lines all the way straight down. So as you can see, now the next thing to do now is to go ahead and create this curve effect we have at the side so that we can get the gathers at that side. Okay, so like what I said earlier, I went ahead to measure it again, 2.5 inches. Then I'm going to just close up this dart like this. So make sure you close up your dart, just close it up like this so that the curve is going to align properly, because we are going to be drawing out this curve we have at the side towards the 2.5 inches we have close to the center front like this. So you can see what I'm doing. So just take it all the way like this to the 2.5 inches we went in. I'm going to rule a line, so because we are going to be having the slash and spread at this part, so I'm going to just rule these lines. So I'm just going to number this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it's very good to number this, okay, so that by the time you cut it out, you'll be able to know where each one is going to be. So the next thing is to go over to the upper chest line. So I'm going to mark 0.25 towards the center front like this, you can see. So just go in by 0.25 at this part. Then I'm going to just come down by 3 inches. So just come down by 3 inches from the upper chest line. So this is very fine to avoid deeper V area at that part, okay, so that V area will not be so deep. So 3 inches is fine. I went ahead to mark out this design we have at the front, like a cover pocket. So I cut it out to see how it's going to be. So after doing that, I placed my tape like this. From the shoulder slope, I came down to the upper chest line, and what I measured there was 5.5 inches. So you need that measurement, okay? So make sure you measure it out to know the length of the sleeve, because it's going to have an elastic. So after doing that, now I'm going to just cut this out. But before cutting it out, I'm going to still measure what I have at this part. So make sure you skip the dart as you are taking your measurement on that part, okay? So I measured what I have at that area, and I also have 5.5 inches. So from the center front all the way to that hammer area was 5.5 inches. Then after that, I went ahead to mark ½ inch for my seam allowance. Then at the side, I went ahead to mark 1.5 inches for the seam allowance at the side. So I'm going to just connect the points together like this, and I'm going to just mark it all the way to the hemline of this gown. Go ahead now and cut this out. So guys, after cutting it, this is what we have for the front piece. So if you're using a bust dart, please make sure you close your bust dart. For me, I'm not going to use a bust dart. Then I went ahead to cut out that part we have, that V area we have at the center front like this. So the next thing is to go ahead and draft out the back pattern. So I'm going to just place the center front like this on this fresh paper so that I can get the lines for the chest line and the rest of it. So I placed it like this. To confirm, I also went ahead to place my tape on it like this to measure from the upper chest line all the way to the chest line, and it was exactly 2 inches. After doing that, still placing the front pattern on it like this, I'm going to just mark all the lines according to the way it is for the front pattern, okay? So after doing this, guys, the next thing I want to do is to connect the points together. So after connecting the points together, the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and mark out my zip allowance. So the back is going to have a zip allowance of 1.5 inches. So that is what you see me marking all the way to the hem of the gown. The next thing is to go ahead and mark the 5.5 inches I have for the neck area, that is for the neck width, which I measured before cutting out the front pattern. So I marked the 5.5 inches I have there, you can see. So after marking it, guys, the next thing I'm going to do is to just place the front like this to get the armhole area. Okay, this is just to make everything align properly, although we are still going to be trimming any excess we have at the armhole area when we are stitching this down. So after doing this, now the next thing I'm going to do is to place my bust measurement divided by 4 on the chest line like this. So I'm going to just place my tape on the zip allowance line, you can see, like the way we normally take our measurement for the back. So after doing that, I went ahead to also add my seam allowance of 1.5 inches. So also coming down to the waistline, I went ahead to divide my waist measurement by 4 and I placed it there, then added my seam allowance. At the hip area, I'm also going to do the same thing. Okay, so just go ahead now and divide your hip measurement by 4 and add your stitching allowance. So after doing this now, guys, the next thing I'm going to do is to just connect the points together like this. So the back is going to have a dart. So what I'm going to do is to go in by my bust span, which is 3.5 inches. So after getting that, I'm going to mark ½ inch at both sides of that line at the waist area. Then I'm going to just connect like this to have the dart. So the length of this dart from the waistline is going to be around 4 inches. Okay, so it's going to be around 4 inches. Then I also extended the zip allowance up to the hem, and also my bust span, I extended it up to the hem of the gown like this. So I went ahead to outline these lines for you guys to see properly, and this is the zip area. So after doing that, now I went ahead to also use my marker to make all the lines visible. So after doing that, I went down by 1 inch for the neck area. So at that zip area, I went down by 1 inch. This is how I want the neck area of the back to be. I want it to be curvy, I don't want it to be straight. So after doing that, guys, the next thing I'm going to do is to extend this, the side to the hem like this, and this is what we have for the back. Now I'm going to also rule out the darts like this. Like I said earlier, I said the dart is going to stop at 4 inches from the waist area. Okay, so after doing that, like what we did for the front, I'm going to mark 2.5 inches at the hem line inward like this, and I'm going to just connect this curve all the way to that point. So after doing that, now we are going to be having the slash and spread also at the back. So I'm going to go ahead and rule out the lines like this for the back, and make sure you label this the center back, and for the front you label it the center front, so that you don't mix things up. After doing that, at the armhole area, I'm going to also add the allowance, okay, for the armhole area. So I added my allowance at that part, and I end up cutting it out. So guys, after cutting it out, I'm going to place it on my fabric. So guys, I've gone ahead to place it on the fabric, and this is what we have. So in our next video, we are going to be stitching this down. So this is what it looks on me. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, like and share this video, and also turn on your notification bell so that when I post the sewing parts, you'll be the first to be notified. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you guys. Bye.